11 local business and union leaders signed on the dotted line in an innovative move to secure the contract for Newcastle. Called the Statement of Common Purpose, it spells out a unique commitment to consultation and cooperation.
The signatories to this statement declare their confidence in the Hunter Region's abilities, industrial relations record and determination required to deliver the Anzac vessel according to contract.
And Mr Fay, after signing as a witness, said he hopes he will be witness again when AWS signs the frigate contract. One signature came from Michael Eason, Secretary of the Labour Council.
I think the kind of agreement we see today is the kind of thing that we should seek between the unions of New South Wales and the employers of New South Wales, to say that we are prepared to work for state development. And I think if we are to achieve that kind of agreement in the future, it will again be said that today's event was another example of Newcastle and the Hunter Valley leading the nation and showing an example to the rest of the industrial relations community of this country.
Commissioner Varnum said the area's industrial relations reputation had surpassed its Victorian rival for the contract. And AWS Newcastle manager Peter Shevlin believes the document will enhance Newcastle's chances.
I'm sure it'll be of great assistance to us. We know we've got the best design. We believe we've got much the best place to build the ship in, where we can build all 12 here, which Amacon can't in their end. And to have this public commitment by both industry and the unions to work with us with minimum dispute, hopefully no disputes at all, can only be of great help. And when the federal government hear what's been achieved today, it must be another plus in our favour.
Earlier, Mr Fay spoke at the Newcastle Chamber of Commerce lunch, again pledging his support for the region.
Because you've shown us what can be done.
Students in the specialty food program have all been looking for work for more than 6 months. The course is funded by the Department of Employment and Training, and according to teachers, it's working. However, numbers in this class are half what they could be. WEA Regional Secretary Pat O'Mahony believes many unemployed people don't know the opportunity is available.
This course was generated, first of all, because the employing community indicated that they were interested in having people train in this field, and this is the 4th that we've conducted, I think, in specialty foods. And again, the people who went through the previous ones got employment. Many, not all of them, but many of them got employment.
In the past 6 months, 3 4-week courses have been run, giving students greater self-esteem and confidence. Mr O'Mahony says one of the secrets of the program is that it's tailored to suit the needs of employers.
We go to the businesses that we hope will employ these people in the future. We get their recipes, and they cook the recipes as part of the course work, so that their experience is in the field that there would appear to be demand for out there in the world of work.
Mr Baird met with councillors from the Great Lakes and Dungog Shires for the bus ride over the gravel road. Action groups have been lobbying the government for more than 6 years trying to get the road upgraded. Concerned parents say their children's lives are in jeopardy, travelling from Stroud to Dungog to school each day. Mr Baird, a little shaken, said he sympathised with their pleas.
I can certainly understand if my son or daughter was travelling on this stretch of road, I'd be concerned. But it is appalling, there's no doubt about it. It's horrific.
But in spite of that, all he could come up with was a grant of $17,000. An NRMA survey rated the road as one of the worst in New South Wales. But according to Great Lakes Shire engineer Frank Rochford, the issue has been blown out of proportion.
Well, I think if the Minister finds this is his worst road, he should be very pleased with the state of his roads. No, I think that was the result of the type of survey they carried out, and the road certainly wouldn't rate as the worst road, even the worst road we have.
Today's $17,000 grant falls well short of the millions needed, a fact the Minister admits, saying he will look into future funding. Meanwhile, motorists driving the Stroud to Dungog Road will simply have to take their chances.
There's nowhere near the amount of money that's required, but I still say that for the amount of money that's needed for that road, it's just not available, and so we've just got to make the most of what money is allocated to us.
The sun was shining on Scone's Day of Days and the public responded by turning out in large numbers for the running of the 42nd Scone Cup. The enclosures and public areas were awash 24 hours before the meeting, but the locals chipped in with over 40 tonnes of sand and sawdust, and wielding shovels spread the material, providing comfortable standing for all patrons. And of course, a race meeting without champagne and the odd lager or two wouldn't be the same. It didn't matter what you spent on your pick of the boards, anything from $1 up would do. Come cup time and the money flowed freely for Mummy's Girl and top weight Pico, but nobody was too interested in number 11, French Horn.
And it's French Horn in front, Locktony Prince up on the outside, Pico trying to save ground along the fence as they head for home, and in front and going well at the moment, French Horn. In second place is Locktony Prince, going for the split between them is Pico. In front at the moment and holding on it seems at the moment is French Horn. In fact, French Horn's coming away. French Horn's going to come on and win the Scone Cup. Pico's got second from Locktony Prince, who's finished third. The next one...
For owner Jack Arnold, it was a dream come true as French Horn was bought by his father as a 2-year-old, but unfortunately he passed away 9 months ago and didn't get to see the 4-year-old triumph in the Cup.
The group arrived after 2 days of talks with the New Zealand government for a guided tour of Carrington slipways this morning. Consisting of government officials and captains of industry and banking, the Dutch believe the frigate contract should be a catalyst for growing trade relations. Delegation leader Just Montine denies that the mission is an attempt to buy the Australian government's favour on the frigate deal. The former boss of Shell says trade in areas such as food processing and pharmaceuticals could be increased dramatically.
Getting to know each other better, you will find out what you can do more. And I think that's the main objective of this mission as well, to find out what we can do more.
He was the only mayor...
Deputy Prime Minister Rudolf de Korte, absent from this morning's tour due to a political upheaval in Amsterdam, met with the Lord Mayor John McNaughton this afternoon. The number 2 politician in Holland says this is simply a diplomatic visit.
Governments, as the Australian government and the Netherlands government, should leave business to private enterprises, or in some cases state-owned enterprises, but the enterprises themselves should do the business. But we as governments should only support the enterprises to bring out the best of us. That is in fact what I am doing.
Over the past few weeks, you really could associate the Steelworks Golf Club with being a next-door neighbour to the Shortland wetlands. It looks like the tourist attraction at the moment. Steelworks is that wet the course curator and his staff can't get their tractors on to mow the grass to give it a chance to dry. So the members themselves, along with the associates, rolled up to lend a hand, an action that amazed a very relieved Pat Henry, who is being hampered in his efforts to provide a playing surface. It's got to be awfully frustrating for a greenkeeper.
Very frustrating indeed. But with the response we've had here today has been tremendous, so hopefully things might get better. They can't get much worse.
And while there's no play, spare a thought for club professional Tony Mangan, times are pretty tough.
Not making too much money, I know that, but they're a great team of blokes, and with a team like that behind you, it's really made everyone sit up and take notice. I know I had a bet with the greenkeeper that we'd get more than 100 people here, and he said we wouldn't, and we've had 150 this morning. And that speaks volumes for the club members and associates.
From whippersnippers to lawnmowers of all sorts and to rakes and hands, it was all systems go.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
And after a hard day's work and a hose down, time to relax and reflect on a job well done and the battle to be resumed with a little white ball.
First launched in 1978, the 5.4 metre boat had its second launch today, after extensive work to the hull and cabin. $10,000 worth in fact. For the last 11 months, Swansea Coast Guard members have had to make do with a rubber ducky and their own craft for patrol and rescue services. The Coast Guard says the new-look Shark Cat, boosted with two 85 horsepower engines, is the perfect tool for their operations and a tremendous asset for the Swansea waterways.
In this great world of ours, but by some strange quirk of human nature, often the most deserving go forever without recognition.
The convention brings all the Toastmaster clubs together from New South Wales and the ACT for 3 days of competition. 7 judges heard speeches until 4 o'clock on Saturday morning and today adjudicated on the finals. Marks were awarded on poise, speaking ease, subject content and delivery. 6 contestants entertained the large crowd with speeches on fairy tales coming true, how modern man doesn't appreciate time, and how a grandmother was turning from baking scones to hang gliding in her spare time. Winner for the day was Robert Hintz, with his speech on kissing frogs and improving the lives of those who live around you. Organisers say the public response to the competition has been good as people rediscover the art of speech making.
Thousands of people were at Swansea to see the opening of the $15 million bridge. Speaking to a volatile crowd, Mayor of Lake Macquarie and member for Swansea, Ivan Welsh, said he could not celebrate a project he has criticised for more than 2 years.
I welcome you all here today to the official opening of what is the single most appalling occurrence for Swansea and Lake Macquarie, and that is
the question of committing a high or low-level bridge over the Swansea Channel has been a divisive issue, and emotions were running high.
As I said at the start of this, this bridge is an insult to the people of Swansea, to the people of Lake Macquarie, and in fact to the whole state.
Industrial Relations Minister and member for Shortland, Peter Morris, was outraged by the Mayor's comments.
But as I said, it's the most appalling piece of behaviour I have ever seen of anybody in public office. One can have one's private views, but in public office we have a responsibility to the community as a whole.
The opening of this bridge for the service of the people of Swansea and our region.
Despite the political head-kicking, Mr Morris and Assistant Minister for Transport, Robert Webster, went through the ceremonial motions. Later, the official party crossed the bridge labelled by Ivan Welsh as outdated in vintage cars. Hundreds of local clubs, community groups and colourful individuals followed. Despite the celebrations, the bridge will not be open to traffic till sometime next week. Peter Ryan reporting, NBN News.
After Mancini took the opening set, 19-year-old Agassi came back strongly to take the next two sets, showing the form that has him ranked number 5 in the world. The Argentine staved off match point in the fourth set and won it in a tie-break before going on to take the fifth set and $180,000 in prize money.
Yeah, but the ball gets up to him, he's able to snap this forehand and really whips it across in front of Agassi for the winner.
This is the road that has driven the people of Moreni to get tough with their local council. Winding through the hilly farm country northwest of Singleton, the bitumen road is riddled with potholes, bumps and breakups. In recent years, the deteriorating state of it prompted landholders to lobby council many times to have it repaired properly. But it was when they heard a whisper recently that council was planning to dig up the road and replace it with gravel that they kicked up a real storm. Today, when the council's roads committee arrived at Moreni as part of an inspection trip, the residents were waiting en masse.
You're not filling the potholes in the road that we've already got, and as you can see just here, it's becoming dangerous coming up to a ramp where you've actually got an asset that you're not maintaining.
Judy Binney was one of many farming wives to speak out during the meeting. The road carries a school bus each weekday, as well as the milk tankers to and from the dairying farms, cattle trucks and the regular farm traffic.
We feel as though we're an isolated community. We need our road to get to town. We need it desperately to get to hospitals. It's our only way to get out. And we felt as a community it was no use talking to the men on the side of the road and asking them to repair the holes. We felt we should go to see the council.
The councillors present conceded the road was in a bad state, but strongly denied claims it was to be changed to gravel, describing that as a strange and backward move.
You know, I would be very doubtful if any of our roads were ever converted from seal back to gravel, but that's a decision which Singleton Shire Council will make.
However, Shire President Neil McNamara was not able to relieve the residents' mind by promising drastic changes to the road's state. He told the meeting the poor weather had stretched their maintenance budget to the limit, saying the best council could do would be a band-aid fix-up.
But we may be able to reallocate money from some other area within the Shire to help this situation out, and I expressed that opinion to the people here this morning.
The district championships began yesterday with the first 18 holes of the singles title played at Merewether. Today the championship was completed at Belmont with 180 women taking to the course. Leading the field going into this morning's play was Carolyn Pawley of Merewether with 79 off a handicap of 3. Determined to make Carolyn battle for the title was Julie McCallum of Belmont with a handicap of 4 and a score of 80. Julie's charge proved successful. She finished today with a score of 158 for the total 36 holes, while Carolyn, on a 3 handicap, scraped in second with 163. Meanwhile, at Katara, the state's major triple bowls tournament is underway. The 3-day competition has attracted 24 teams and many state-level players. Favourite to win the tournament is the team from Belrose in Sydney, skippered by Alan Baker and boasting the Australian pairs champions of Crawford Linton and Rex Johnston. But it's not only the experienced and long-playing bowlers that have been invited to take part in the competition. 18-year-old Cameron Curtis from the Hills Club in Sydney was last year's Australian junior champion, and this year as a senior holds the state singles title. The local clubs, including 2 teams from Katara, are trying their best to keep the title at home. The final of the triples will be played on Thursday.
The Newcastle Esso tanker depot has gone 17 years without an accident or injury to an employee that has resulted in one lost working day. Esso attributes its National Safety Council 5-star rating to ongoing safety schemes like today's driver assessor course organised by the New South Wales Road Transport Industry Training Group. Group Inspector Jim Taylor took 10 drivers through a multi-point checklist of their vehicles before the start of each shift. Jim says driver training is not about sending trucks into horrendous skids.
Our concept of training is to train people not to get into a situation rather than the idea of training them how to get out of a situation. A vehicle like this in a skid is a dangerous situation, and we're more on the defensive of you don't overspeed, you don't go beyond the limits of the vehicle and defy the laws of gravity and that type of thing where you can have a vehicle roll over.
The course is designed to bring a professional approach to heavy vehicle driving.
We enhance the driver's existing skills in such things as defensive driving and vehicle manoeuvrability and how to get the best from the vehicle to reduce maintenance, tyre wear and fuel economy.
With the Newcastle depot delivering fuel 24 hours a day, 5 days a week, in a region that is bounded by Gosford in the south, Coonabarabran in the west and Port Macquarie in the north, the value of driver defensive training cannot be underestimated. Darren Curtis for NBN News.